Hey everyone, Art Burns here. Hope you're all doing well today. I really do wish you well, and I hope that you're making it through all these very strange times in a way that's healthy and happy for yourself. And so, wishing you well is what I wanted to talk about today. I talk about compassion a lot in these videos, and there's a reason for that. Okay, compassion is one of the most beneficial things that we can do, and in so many ways. And one of the most important ways in which compassion helps us, it helps us to wish other people well. And the reason for this is it gets us outside of ourselves, and it kind of allows us to dwell in the connection with others. And there's lots and lots of science that shows that by cultivating this kind of connection to others, by getting out of our own sense of separate self, it benefits us in amazing ways, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it actually increases our potentials, and it increases our level of homeostasis, which means reducing the stress that we're feeling in our body. There's almost not enough things I can say about compassion. And like empathy, compassion arises from the absence of the judgment and the criticism that we feel for ourselves, right? In fact, we could even say that compassion rises from empathy directly, right? Because the idea, the progression that happens there is that when we can understand another person's suffering, right? When we can understand what someone is feeling and actually feel that, same feeling within our body, right? When we can do that, then we can kind of make the transition to wanting the relief of that suffering for someone else. It's almost like you can't have one without the other, but you can't have either of them when you're dwelling in the judgment and the self-judgment, the self-criticism, and that chatter that's constantly happening in our minds, that's kind of keeps us so preoccupied, and that's the key here. And that's where these practices, sure, you can practice compassion, and you should. There's deliberate, intentional ways in which you can practice compassion. And I can give you those exercises. They're very simple. They feel great, and you should absolutely try to do those, okay? But just by the virtue of training yourself to pay attention to your unfolding experiences as they're happening without judgment, right? Just that act, what it does is it leaves room for compassion, right? And just like it leaves room for empathy, just like it leaves room for aligning with your inner nature, and just like it leaves room for your very happiness, right? This is how it works when we're focused on the judging of our experiences, whether it's the judging of our external experiences, the judging of other people, or the judging of our own thoughts or emotions or sensations of our body, right? When we get into those judgments, what we're doing is we're taking ourselves out of the present moment, right? Because when we judge something that is really good, what we're doing is we're worried about some future time where we're going to lose that thing and it's going to go away, and then we're going to be left with this mundane blah feeling that's going to feel not as good, right? Or when we judge something that's particularly unpleasant, right, or bad, right, what we're doing is, again, we're kind of going into the future saying, I need this to not be part of my future, right? And as soon as you're outside of that present moment, that's where things just all get confused, and you lose so much of your potential, so much of your ability, so much of your happiness, and your alignment with your inner nature, and your ability to understand someone else, to really relate on a deep level, which is empathy, right? And therefore you lose your ability to feel compassion for others. Okay, now again, sure, plenty of people live without compassion, and I'm sure that they're able to do that. But the experience that you can have when you allow compassion to lead you, and you allow compassion to be in the forefront of your emotions, and the sort of forefront of the process of your mind. When you can do that, I'm telling you, physically, emotionally, and mentally, it is going to benefit you in ways that it's hard for me to sit here and describe in a few-minute video. So you just got to try it. And if you would like to learn some of these very basic practices, okay, I'd be happy to share them with you. Okay, whether you want to learn the actual compassion practices, because it's funny with compassion. Compassion will, just practicing compassion helps you to relieve the judgment, helps you to relieve the thinking about the future and the past, and all these confusing ways that our mind can kind of bring us. So compassion can make this happen, or by practicing, presence without judgment, it can create compassion. So either way you want to go, or if you want to do both, that's even better. But if you'd like to learn some of these practices, please hit me up with a comment, send me a direct message, let me talk to you for a few minutes, and let me help you to just get started. All it takes sometimes is just one little nudge, and you'll be on your way to really reaping some amazing benefits, again, in your physical, your mental, and your emotional health. And once you get these parts, these benefits, there's no telling where it's going to lead you, and I know that from experience. Thank you for listening, everyone. I wish you well. And yes, if you want any help with any of this, any of these practices, or you just want to talk about this and understand it a little bit more, I'm here to talk. Hit me up with a comment or send me a direct message. Let's get into a conversation. Thank you again, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I wish you well. Stay safe, stay sane, wash your hands, stay at home. We're going to get through this, okay? And especially we'll get through this as long as we allow compassion and not fear to govern us. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.